Ah, cool. That only took 3 tries this time. Let me see if I'm actually live. If you guys can see me, let me know. It looks like we're good. Okay, cool. Nice. Sweet. All right. Well, there's only yay. There's only about 7 people in here right now. We'll just sort of shoot the shit until we can get some more folks in. So today we're going to be going over the second half of Spices, which we should have done yesterday, but I honestly completely forgot that was the plan. So we're going to be doing that today. Yesterday I went to a city council meeting, so that is y'all's homework for today. Y'all's homework for today is to go to the city council meeting, or at least find out when the city council meetings are in your area. See if you can attend. If you can attend, and I mean can attend, not if you don't want to. If you can physically attend, that means you're not working, you're able to leave the house, all of that stuff. Okay, if you can attend, you should. All right. If you cannot attend for whatever reason, then you need to be looking into your city's budget. We've been having some fucky shit happening with our budget here because we live in a red area. They are trying to do on the state and local levels what they're trying to do federally and make massive sweeping cuts so they can enrich themselves. And so make sure there's nothing weird or fucky going on with your city budget. The other thing that's going on with our budget is that they are giving massive amounts of money to police. Which they already do that, but it seems to be ramping up. And there were some people at last night's city council meeting who expressed concerns that they are ramping up the police budget this much and giving, them like armored vehicles and such, so that they could use that, weaponize that against the citizenry. So make sure that stuff like that is not happening in your community. It's very, very important. Okay. Because if they're going to be doing stuff like that, you gotta nip it in the bud. That's why I say if you can show up, you should. If not, email those representatives. Okay, both Democrat and Republican, and Independent, whatever party you have in your area, and make a big stink about whatever is going on in your community that you need to make a stink about. Seriously, guys. I know it seems like, call your representatives, this, that, or the other. On a state and federal level, that can get a little bit more difficult. They're less likely to listen to you because they don't have to look you in the face. On a local level, though, these are people who live where you live. These are people who have an investment in your town. These are a lot of times, I've learned, people you know personally, and you can get dirt on them. So yeah, you should definitely go do all of that. That's a good one, Vampire Winters. I went to my city council meeting recently to discuss a lot of those skill games parlors popping up all over the main street. Yeah, those things are a problem. We have a lot of those here too. So yeah, city council meetings, guys, do it. And if you have kids, school board meetings, if you can make those as well. was a city council person last night who decided to get a bit snide with me there towards the end. Not me personally, but I could tell it was like directed at me. It was like an indirect kind of thing. Um, and I plan on thoroughly nailing his dick to a board at the next city council meeting because I have dirt on him. I've gotten dirt on him. So, and you can do that because these are people in your community. You can get the tea and you can embarrass them and they won't like that. My local school board budget is a goddamn mess. Yes, you should pitch a fit. Pitch a fit. I like to call this Karening for good, right? The Republicans have gotten where they are because they have gone in and they've acted like complete lunatics, right? They've gone in, they've yelled, they've screamed, they've bitched a fit, and that's why they've been able to get all this stuff done. And we need to match that energy. We have to match that energy, or we're not going to be able to get anything done. We cannot get anything done if we sit here trying to be demure with these lunatics. It's not going to do anything. You have to go in and make a stink. Get into your Benjamin Lay era. I'm trying to convince my husband to become a nuisance to his fellow union members to go to his local meeting. As you should. As you should. You need to go make yourself a problem. And you need to not be afraid to do it. Yeah, become a menace for the cause. Seriously. Seriously. This is what we have to do. Go be a problem for these people. Go make trouble. Good trouble. I told him since he loves to yap at someone other than me because I already know. Seriously, if you have the gift of gab, you in particular are needed to do this. Especially if you have like a spine. You know what I mean? Like if you are somebody who has no problem speaking truth to power, then you need to be doing that. Seriously. Go make a stink at the city council meeting. They won't want to put up with you because you're going to be there in their community. A lot of these people are going to have to see you at the goddamn grocery store. And they aren't going to want to do that. One of these people is going to be my kid's principal. And if he thinks that I'm not going to take this to the school board too, he's out of his mind. Yeah, last night's city council meeting felt like a meeting of the Justice League because you had me and I'm very direct. I'll just come in and make a stink. I don't care. And then you had my friend who was like he came in with the spreadsheets, right? He came in with the data. And then you had like some other people who had these big impassioned speeches. You had people from the library coming in talking about how, you know, they didn't want to lose their jobs, that there were these cuts to important programs being made. There was a guy coming in who came in who was like, by the way, it is very noticeable that the mayor is spreading personal propaganda on the city webpage. Which made the mayor very nervous because he's like, not only is it happening on the city mayor webpage, it's happening on the mayor's personal page, and it's happening on like a whole nother like Republican Party of Huntington webpage too. And they're all being posted within like 20 minutes of each other. And it's the mayor just sharing propaganda. And the mayor got very, very nervous about that because that makes him look incredibly bad. So, yeah, because he was like, I want to see what's happening in my community. I don't just want to see like an election campaign for the mayor, like 3 months after the election. So, yeah, make a stink. Make a stink. JD Vance is coming to ski at a town 15 minutes from me, and I'm so sad that I can't get arrested right now. Yeah, I've had to balance out, like, because I have a wife and kids now, and I'm like, I can't be doing the shit I used to do. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be throwing tampons at rich people like I used to. You know? He ate, dude. Yeah, no. The guy who came in with the social media stuff. By the way, if you have not already, go ahead and like that stream. You know that it helps me out if you like that stream. I mean, it's really about aim, right? When it comes to throwing the tampons. And you got to be like forceful when you yank it out too. All right. Let's see. I think we got about all the people we're going to get in here right now. So let's go over those spices. All right. So remind me, we covered simplicity, peace, integrity last time, right? Also, Julia or Jules. I've seen all three, I think, on your pages. You had brought up the concept of slices, that instead of peace, like changing it to liberation, and having slices. May I suggest splices? Simplicity, peace, liberation, integrity, community, equality, and stewardship. So we've gone through the first half. We're going to do community, equality, and stewardship this time. So community. What are ways we can build community in our own lives? What makes a strong community? What do we think makes a strong community? I would say that, like I said earlier, showing up for your city council meetings. The willingness to help others. Yes, that's a good one too. Being in person at local events helps find like-minded folks. Yes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, right? Because we have these internet communities and they're great, right? We can find like-minded people all over the world who agree with us on a lot of things. And we can, especially queer people, having these online communities can be really, really, really helpful to us. Do not underestimate the importance of in-person power. Not everything can be done online. It's just the reality of the situation. You cannot do everything online. There has to be in-person community building, which means you have to learn how to work with people you don't like. That's just how it has to go. It's just how it has to go. There were some people at that city council meeting last night doing very good work. People that I'm not a fan of on a personal level. Though we did speak last night, and I'm hoping that can be mended. I'm hoping it can be mended. Um, because it doesn't have to be a forever war, you know? Um, but you don't have to like everyone you build community with. You don't have to trust everyone you build community with. What you do have to do is work towards a common goal. Okay? That is what you have to do. That is very, 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 very important. Okay? I think it starts with quite literally talking to people. So many of us go through our community with our heads down, and it's time to start chatting with our neighbors. Yeah, honestly, I know it's uncomfortable and a bit of a social faux pas right now, but I think it's a social faux pas we need to kind of move out of. Um, Strike up conversation in the grocery line, at the bus stop, things like that. You know? I mean, if somebody's like obviously not into it, don't push the issue. But like, there's no problem with giving somebody a compliment, a genuine compliment in the grocery store or striking up conversation about literally anything. This is the purpose of small talk, okay? You know how we had that the whole like there are so many people who are like, I don't like small talk. I don't engage in small talk. Okay, this is the purpose of small talk. Okay? This is the purpose of small talk. You don't have to talk with your like personal friends in small talk. Like because they're your friends. Obviously you can have deeper conversations with them than you would with a total stranger. Um but like if you turn to the person at the bus stop and just say, "Oh, this weather we're having." Like, whether it's good or bad, you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, the I wish the weather would stop being crappy," or, "Oh man, it's finally starting to get nice out here," you know? Like, that kind of stuff can be good small talk. Even, if you wanna get slightly more political about things in the grocery store, um, you can say, "Man, grocery prices are through the roof, aren't they?" Everybody's going to agree with you because they are. Everybody. Like, every single person. They're gonna have something to say about that too. You can do and, when it comes to compliments, right? I know that can be uncomfortable for people to give compliments. I am a man. I walk through life as a man, right? I have never had a woman get uncomfortable with me if I've given her a genuine compliment, especially if I bring up my wife in context. For example, um, "Oh, that's a wonderful dress. My wife would love that. Where'd you get it?" Simple as that. Simple as that. You really can give people compliments. As and you should always give people compliments if you're going to do that on something they have control over. Like anything that they don't have control over about their body is going to come across as sleazy. But if you say, "Oh man, those are great shoes," then you know what? Women are gonna like, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And you can compliment a dude too. You can be like, "Man, like that's a great beard. I wish I could grow a beard like that." Like you can do that. It's not weird. Walking around your neighborhood is a good way to start this too. Yes. Seriously, walk around your neighborhood. It's good exercise too. It'll get the blood pumping, which will make you feel better. Small talk is superficial, relatable conversation to talk to strangers. It isn't comfortable, but it's a very useful tool. Yes, exactly. And then, if you talk to these strangers, they can start being friends. If you really like, because sometimes that small talk will really cause you to hit it off with somebody. And if you do, then you can exchange information. Uh, we have to remember, guys, that before the internet, this is just how human beings met each other, and then would eventually fall in love and have babies. Like that, really and truly. Um, like think about how like before women were in the workforce, even how would people meet each other? Sometimes their parents would know each other. Sometimes they'd meet at church, but like a lot of the time, it was just public meetings, public happenings. This was a thing that happened. Chance meetings happened. Um, and that's something I think we need to bring back. Like, we need to be able to have chance meetings with one another. Went yesterday to a community center and just sat and crocheted with a lovely old lady. We talked about curtains and sewing and blankets, and it was so, so great. I wish more places like that existed. Yes. And you were talking to someone who wasn't your age, right? You were talking to someone who had had a different life experience than you. And that is where, like, because algorithms sort us into these little boxes, they show us only other people who are like us, right? If you don't go out and have these in-person meetings, you will start to get into a bubble. You will start to get into an echo chamber. This is by design, okay? Now, I actually think that online, it is not necessarily a bad thing to have an echo chamber because the internet is so vast, so massive, that staying kind of within your own relative bubble on the internet probably is actually better for your mental health. But you have to go outside too, because if you don't also go outside and like actually talk to other human beings in person, then being in that echo chamber is really bad for you. Because you will start to lose touch with like actual reality. My library has a bunch of these clubs, like fiber artist clubs, but they're all at 10 a.m. on Thursday, so I can't go to any of them. Yeah, that's the thing. I really wish, and I know that libraries don't have the budget to do this. I really wish that libraries had extended hours where they could offer classes and such in the evening. And also, if you are someone who has a little spare time, right? If you have a little spare time and you're good at something and want to start a club, the library is a great place to do that. Really and truly. And librarians, they love when you utilize their space. All of them. Every last one of them. They want people in there because they are constantly having to prove their usefulness to the government so they don't get their funding cut. And the more people come and utilize their services, the more people they can mobilize to help them save their funding. Okay? So starting some sort of program at your local library is a very, very good idea, a very good way to make community, and a good way to protect community resources that already exist. Where I'm living right now, everything is on days and times where the buses don't. Sorry, my eyesight is awful. I really need actual glasses. These aren't real glasses. They don't have a prescription in them. I have no eyelashes because of my autoimmune disorder. I wear these to keep shit out of my eyes. But I probably need actual real glasses because my eyesight is atrocious. Where I'm living right now, everything is at days and times where the buses don't run, so my partner and I can't go. All right. So that is a problem. Like I said, I really wish that libraries had like extended hours. However, the other thing I want you to look into, and this is actually going to probably be a lot of fun for you. Um, Local festivals, especially now that we're getting into spring and summer. Spring, summer, fall is usually when local festivals will happen. Um, these usually happen on the weekends. Um, and even during like winter months, sometimes they'll have like a first Friday or something like that where there's like a little market in like downtown or something like that. Art walks, things like that. Anything you can go to and experience your community is a good idea. Okay? Um so those little festivals. Another thing is tiny museums. I guarantee you have a tiny museum in your area. I can almost 100% bet on this. Okay. Um, some sort of little history museum, some sort of town museum, some sort of weird museum, um, an art museum, anything at all. A little museum, right? In your town. You may even have multiple. Like I said, my town's not that big. We have multiple little museums. Go check those out. You will, especially if you're in my audience, you may make a friend, okay? Because the people who are going to be running those little museums are going to be weirdos. All right? They are. They are the most fun little weirdos you will ever meet in your entire life. They are all neurodivergent. They're all neurodivergent people who have a special interest in this one thing and they have decided to open a museum about it. Okay. That is who these people are. They are all amazing. I have yet to meet somebody who runs one of these little museums who isn't an absolute delight to be around. Okay. Um, and you may make a buddy. All right. It's tough, but I think we need to take it upon ourselves to find ways to make community events and groups at the time when we can actually get to them. Yes, seriously, really and truly. Like, if you have just a little extra time, just once a week, twice a month, something like that, right? Um, if you don't have anything in your area, you can start something. You can. And if nobody shows up the first time, don't get discouraged. It's rare people do. Okay? Just keep doing it. Keep doing it over and over and over and over. That's how I got started with everything I do now. I just started doing it, and then I just kept doing it. And eventually people were like, huh, I think that's something I want to get involved in. And now I have a whole team, a whole church, a whole group of people I can call on for things, right? Um, it really is just a matter of perseverance, um, and not giving up and not getting discouraged and being like, "Oh, well, I failed. Nobody's coming out." Um, because at the first couple of times, nobody's going to come out. I assure you, it'll be like one person maybe. And then you and that one person, you do your thing, and then more people will show up, and more people, and more people, and more people. And then some people may leave, and then some people may come back. And that's just how it goes. Yes, please come visit the tiny museums. We need you to visit and keep us open, and we all are nerds of the highest order. Yeah, seriously, I have not met somebody who works at a tiny museum who is not a blast, man. I just did a quick search and my area has a tiny train museum, and now I know what I'm doing next week. Yes! Yes! Do that kind of stuff. And you know what? If you go to those tiny museums too, there may be other people who also want to be at the tiny museums, and you'll meet them, not just the people who work there, but other people who want to visit there. Um, and if you are an autistic person who likes trains, which pretty much all of us are, uh, you will find other train people at the tiny train museum. And so many towns have a tiny train museum. Really and truly, like, this is a very, very common thing. Sat on so many empty Zoom calls. Yeah, really and truly. And then one day, like, even if things are going badly, one day, like, if shit hits the fan, then people are going to be like, oh, you know what? I could go to that little club that I heard about, where I heard there's safe people there, where I heard there's good people there who will take care of me. I've had people do that. I've had people like hit me up, and even people who've like left because they got grumpy or grouchy or whatever, or mad at somebody who was at the event. We're queer. The drama happens occasionally. Even if they left, when shit hits the fan, people find each other again. They just do. Once it gets warm enough, it's amazing to just go to a park with a book or a notebook and just sit on the bench for a couple hours. You'd be surprised with what a great way that what a great way that is to meet people. Yeah. Seriously. You can sit on a park bench, and if nothing else, even if nobody talks to you in the park, right? Even if nobody talks to you in the park, then you are enjoying yourself reading a book in nature. And that's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. In the spring and summer months, it's getting to the point right now that I'll probably start doing it again. But I have like a little routine, right? I like to go to the park, go for a nice little run around the park. They have like a walking circle or like a track around the park. And I like to go do a loop there just to get like the blood pumping, a little extra exercise, right? And then I like to sit in silence for like and just meditate in the park for like 15 minutes. And after that, I drive down to there's like a little area of town that's kind of like the arts district. And I go, and sometimes I'll visit my friend who works at the art gallery down there. Um, and I will go to my little coffee shop because it doesn't open till 10. So I usually, go on my run before then. I go to my little coffee shop, and I get myself a bagel and a dirty chai with an extra shot of espresso. And then and I sit in there because it's a bookstore too. And sometimes I'll flip through a book. Sometimes I'll just enjoy being there alone. Sometimes people will talk to me. Sometimes they won't. I've made pretty good friends with the baristas at this point. They all know who I am. They know me by name and they know my order. Um, and then I go to there's a little like local farmers market where I live. It's like a farm to table place called the Wild Ramp. And they have like local jam and jelly and spices and produce. And I'll usually go there and get my wife a little treat and bring her back a little treat. And that's my like Thursday routine. And I've met so many people just doing that. If you bring your crafts to a place, sooner or later, someone will ask what you're making. Seriously, people want to connect like that, guys. They really do. We long for it. We are social creatures. We're community-oriented creatures. We would not have survived. We look at human beings, right? We don't have big claws. We don't have big teeth. We don't have hair, right? Like we have hair, but we aren't like furry, right? We would not have survived as these squishy things if we did not work together. Okay? We are instinctually we want to do that. I discovered a little tea shop just a week ago and it's closing in 3 days. No, that sucks. There's a historic mansion that does summer classic movie nights on the lawn and it's so fun. Yeah, stuff like that too. Come summer, there will very likely be a movie night, like a free movie night. These happen in almost every town as well. Somebody will come out, they'll put up a projector somewhere, and they will have movies, like movies in the park or something. And that's a great way to meet people as well. All right, we do have to move on from community, or we will never get this done. All right, equality is the next one. Let's talk about ways we can create equality in our communities. Anybody have any ideas? Push for ADA additions and adaptations in your town. What is ADA? I am not sure what that is. I have heard of it before. Give me a little reminder. Pay for overdue lunch accounts, that way those kiddos can eat a hot meal. Yeah, that's another great way to do that. I am shocked by the fact that we still have that in our country, that we don't offer free meals to children. We have that here. Our kids' school does free meals for children, always. We also have free school supplies, our district does. So that's another one. If your district does not offer free school supplies, doing like a school supply drive for kids at like the beginning of the year, that's a really good one. From a spiritual perspective, I think truly understanding and recognizing the light or spirit in everyone can help shift your actions. Yeah, really and truly. I have found that since I made an active effort to try to see the face of God in everyone, every single person, even the people I don't like, right? I try to see the face of God in them. And with some people, it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly, incredibly difficult. And there have been times, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. And maybe, y'all have some thoughts on this. There are people that I look at and I'm like, I don't know. I think that you have the potential to have the light in you. But at this point, you have corrupted yourself so deeply, so thoroughly. You've become so evil that I don't know if that light is visible with the human eye. I don't know if that light is something that other people can even perceive anymore. Um, and that I'm not really sure what to do with that feeling. Because I'm like, you've kind of made a demon of yourself. Um, when I see certain politicians, especially, I'm like, what? You have become so rich and so corrupt. I don't know how to see the light in you. I don't know anymore. And it feels like it's just kind of fizzled out in you. And that's sad. And that is about the emotion I land on, is just pity. Pity that they've done this to themselves and that they continue to do this to other people. ADA is Americans with Disabilities Act. It's not perfect, but it does go some ways towards requiring businesses to be a certain amount of accessible. Excellent. Okay. Yes, I have heard of that. So yeah, we should be demanding more accessibility, especially in an age where accessibility is under attack. They're adding that A right in with the DEI stuff. They're calling it DEIA at this point. And that means we are all in this together. We are all in this together. If you fall under the D, the E, the I, or the A, we're all fucked. So we need to work together. It is important to look for the light in others, but also important to recognize that it might not be there. I unfortunately think we need to accept that some people are gone, lost, evil, etc. Yeah, I I don't like to think that people are completely lost. I think every single person has the opportunity to at least try to become a better person, right? I think everybody has that opportunity. I don't think everyone will take it. Um, I don't think everyone will take it. I think some people don't want to take it because they are stuck in their ways, or they're satisfied with the path they're on, or they don't know that there is any other way. Um, and all I can do is pity them, you know? All I can do is pity them because they aren't happy. You know what I mean? Like, none of these people are happy. It doesn't, even if they seem gleeful to like cause other people suffering, right? What kind of person does that? You know? Like, that's not a well person. That's not a person who's satisfied with their life. Um, that's a miserable person. Hey, Pop Pop, do you know of any resources online for people who need them? A queer disabled friend of mine is facing eviction, and we're trying to figure out resources. Um, so the only the only thing I can think of right now off the top of my head is to look into renters' rights in your area. They're different everywhere. Tenant rights in your area, and try to figure something out. Um, Tenants unions are really, really good for this. So if there's a tenants union in your area, look into them as well. You may also see, this is something that I think would be a better question for someone who works more in disability advocacy, because they would know more than I would about the rights of disabled people when it comes to places to live. I'm sure there are some workarounds. Yes, let me rephrase. I think we need to stop giving the full grace, etc., to those who aren't willing to change or are only looking to take hurt, etc. Yeah, so I've found that it's more helpful for me as someone who loves to offer people grace, to just to give my grace to the people who I can help, right? To give my grace to those most in need, to give my grace to those who are the most disadvantaged, and to give my love to those people. And I find that when I do that, um, that love takes up so much of my time and my energy that I don't have as much to spend on the evil people. I don't have as much to spend like brain power, hours in the day to spend thinking about them, because I've I've refocused how I go about my day and how I go about my life, trying to live in service to other people. And I found that the more you do that, the less the evil people cross your mind. Um, and don't get me wrong, I still have my days, you know. I am by no means a perfect man. I absolutely have my days where I am just overwhelmed by just disgust and anger at these people. But those days happen less often when you feel more like you have control and when you're helping others. Honestly, it really does. And I know that sounds like trite or like a little, you know, it feels like, you know, standard like dad advice, right? But it really does help. And you'll just find that like your movements will become stronger too, because you're acting in a way that puts you in a natural place of community with other people, which is actually a stronger bond than what conservatives have right now, which is a community based on hate and fear. They are not as strong of bonds as love is. And you will find that when you start acting with love towards others, and building communities based around that love and understanding and equality and community, um, those things hold up a lot stronger than the coalitions the conservatives have built right now. As you can see, they're eating each other. They're falling apart because they cast this big wide net, right? And now that they are consolidating power, a lot of those people are realizing that they don't really want to be in community with those people, that they don't have shared interest at all. All they had was a mutual fear. Personally, seeing someone as lost would imply that it's not possible for them to do the right thing. Yeah, that's why I kind of don't like to do that either. I think everyone has the potential to turn their life around. And I just think some people will make the choice not to. Also, it's really important to have conflict resolution skills and healthy disagreements. Yeah, and that is something you will learn being in like real life community with other people. You will start to learn conflict resolution. It takes an active effort, right? You have to learn some things, unlearn some things. I have found just since I have been making the active effort to like be in community with other people here, I have learned so much, and I've grown so much as a person. Um, I feel like I am unrecognizable to the person I was, especially like pre-transition. Um, because like transitioning to like help me helped me have better relationships because then I didn't hate myself. So yeah. But I'm really glad you guys are sharing resources in the comments. That's a good thing. I'm really proud of you for that. I feel like we're getting back to community though, instead of focusing on equality. Um, and we are running out of time. So let's just actually, since we keep coming back to this, the conversation keeps coming back to it naturally. We'll just talk about community for the rest of the stream. Um, and then we'll get on to the other stuff next week. How's that sound? We'll dedicate at least Monday to equality and stewardship. Does that sound like a plan? And we can talk more. That way I can gather more resources too on things like tenants' rights, um, and other ways to unions, tenants' rights. What are some other things you guys would like me to look up that we can like build better equality? That way we can jump off with the Monday stream doing that. A lot of work to unlearn privilege, bias, etc. Okay, so there's a great question right there. How do we help people? I'm gonna actually write some of this stuff down because I don't have Heather this morning to take notes for me. She's off at a doctor's appointment this morning. So, how can people unlearn privilege? And I especially want you to think about how people can unlearn privilege when they are not people who are apt to do so, right? Like, we have lots of little like workshops and things like that, right? On how to like unlearn our biases. How, but there's going to be people in this world, the people who need it most too, right? Um who need to unlearn those biases the most, who are going to be like, I don't want to show up for a fucking workshop on that woke shit. Like that, like that is just the reality. Okay. I'm not saying that they're a bad idea or that they can't be helpful. I've gone to those little workshops. I've had those little workbooks and I have found them immensely helpful. Right. They've given me a new perspective. But I think we also need to take into consideration that there are a lot of people who are not going to do that. And we need to figure out ways to engage with them on this topic without making them feel stupid or intimidated, right? Or boring them. Frankly, honestly, that is a huge problem. A lot of lefties, when we try to teach, are just deeply boring people, okay? And we need to find a way to engage people with this stuff in a way that's more exciting. Here's something. Here's something that I think could be helpful, right? Having in your community, especially if you live in a really diverse community, and even if you don't live in a very diverse community, putting together some sort of multicultural food festival, right? Putting together a food festival where like people who from all these different cultures can come together and share about their culture. Those are events that people will show up to, encourage people to ask questions, um, have people there who are willing to answer questions about themselves, about their culture, and that will create greater understanding. People will show up where there's food. They will show up where there's food, especially good food. Okay? And multicultural festivals are a great way to have good food. All right? But that kind of stuff can be really helpful. All right. So let's be thinking for the next stream, okay, about ways that we can, because you're, Mel J, proximity to a diverse range of people, just being around people different from you goes a long way. So how do we get people in proximity of one another? I think that's a good place to start for equality next time. Give me a second. I gotta blow my nose. Open house parties? Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to do that, I'm see, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I am too old. I went to those in my 20s. I am too old. I can't do house parties no more. So that's the thing too. I am a man who is now, nearly like in my mid 30s, okay? Um so I am not going to have the perspective of people who are much younger than me or much older than me. I don't know what the kids like to do these days. Play their Roblox. So if you're younger than me, um I look forward to your creative input. If you're older than me, I look forward to your creative input because we do all have to work together in this. The events that might be something that I enjoy are sometimes not going to be the kind of events that very young people would enjoy, a lot of the stuff I do now, a lot of younger people might find like boring. In the UK, especially rural places, we have open garden events in the spring and summer. Community gardens, another place to meet people. Yes. And it creates, if you give away some of your produce, that can help people as well. Another one is a lot of towns will have like resource fairs or like tabling events, and you should check those out as well. All right. Well, we are reaching the end of the stream. If you like what I do here, check the link down in the link tree, right? That gives you all the places you can donate, both to the Clergy Fund and the Outreach Fund. I am trying to get as much as I need tips for this month, right? But what I'm trying to do is get my Patreon up. Really and truly, I want to get my Patreon to the point where I don't have to ask for tips anymore. And I can just rely on having a steady source of income. That would be better for me. I don't like having an income that changes every month. That makes it very, very hard to budget. And it's why, like, at the end of the month, I'm like, oh God, I have no money. Because I literally cannot live on just what I get from the Patreon and the TikTok Creator Fund. I can't. Like, it's an impossible amount, an impossibly small amount. And so I have to rely on tips, but I never know when tips are coming in, how much tips are going to be. So it's really, really difficult to plan anything. So what I'd like to do is get my Patreon to the point where I can budget my life. That would be great. So I very much encourage you to become a member of the Patreon. Also, if you are a member of the Patreon and on any paid tier, you can sorry, my brain just went blank. I'm so tired, guys. You can come to our interfaith discussion nights. Those happen twice a month. There will be a Zoom link that's posted about an hour before, and you can just enter in. We have a great time there every time. Things get rowdy. But yeah, no, it's a fun time. Everybody always has a good time at those. And rowdy, by the way, I mean in a good way. Like it's a lot of people laughing, sharing experiences, being very joyful. And it's a really nice group to attend. So if that's something you're interested in, consider becoming a member of that Patreon. Remember to like this stream so that it will come up in other people's feeds. I'm trying to think of what else. I did get the link up for the God, Stormy's over there with her bells being real jingly. For the cookbook. So if you would like to donate a recipe to our cookbook, you can do that at the link in the link tree. We are putting together a Mothman Ministries cookbook to use as a fundraiser. How's my watch time? Let me look at my watch time real quick. Let me see. I am at 2,177 public watch hours. I need to be at 3,000. So I have less than 1,000 watch hours to go, guys, before I'm where I need to be, which is good. And my public watch hours, I had like almost none at the beginning of this. So my public watch hours over the last, when was that was like the 19th of, so I probably started on like the 15th uploading stuff. So it's been a little over a month and I have gotten 2,177 watch hours. So I'm just a little under being able to monetize. Now, I don't know if that I will be able to get ad revenue when I first start monetizing, because there is another like milestone I have to hit at some point to get like ad revenue. Actually, I don't know. Oh, okay, I have to get to 4,000 to start getting ad revenue. At 3,000, I can get supers. I can get super chat. So I still need 2,000 to get but I should be able, with the rate that the watch hours are going, I should, especially with me doing streams 3 times a week, I should be able to pull that off. What kind of recipes? What's the vibe of the cookbook? Anything at all. Anything at all. Any recipe works. I did put the Amazon wish list back up. Both of them. I think we've kind of decided at this point that it's like a necessary evil. So yeah, we went ahead and put those back up. You're getting all your watch hours when ad rev is the lowest, so it's all up from here. Oh, good. Good to know. So yeah, let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to discuss with you guys? I do not think so. I'm going to go ahead and read donos. All right, a special thanks to Jennifer Davidson, Margaret Capehart, Jessica Bednarak, Ariana, Emma Price, Allison Hill, Lauren O'Connor, Mao, Nathan, Morgan Westerin, Eleanor Bucksbaum, Jay Winia, Morgan May, Taylor Condra, River Johnson, Angelini Pellegrini, Faith Benamy, Kristens McSorley, Jacqueline Gordon, Devin Watson, Val Smith, Post Punk Pastor, Pauline Gibson, and John Borg. Thank you guys so much for your patronage. There we go. All right, and remember, guys, drink a water, eat a food, be kind to yourself, to your neighbor, and to the earth. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. I hope you have a wonderful day, and God bless.